guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
We are back as UFC Vegas 100, the special 100, but not so special. We'll talk about that here shortly. This is not a great card, guys, and we're back at the Apex. So you got UFC Vegas 100 at the Apex. The card is weak, but like always, we'll talk about it. Main event, Magny versus Prates, and overall, the card is just ugly. Cody Garbrandt just dropped out. We had another fight drop out. So only 12 fights on this card. I'll be breaking down the main card like always. Provide free picks, leans, fades, price talk, and more. Systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping. Become a client today. Receive my personal plays, records over there as well, client comments, resume, and much more. It's gonna be a little quicker video, guys. UFC Edmonton recap. Let's do a Edmonton recap here for you guys. Before that, thanks for all the listeners. Thanks for all the clients. We're over on podcasts now, of course. I keep saying video podcast. This is technically a video podcast, but we have podcasts over on Apple and Spotify. A lot more listeners over there. I get it. Some people still want to come see my face over here on YouTube. Thanks for that. But it's also an easy listen over there. Let's do an UFC Edmonton recap here. Very small card for myself. Technically only had one play. It did miss. It was a 2-fight parlay. We went 1-on-1 on that. I didn't love the card. I did lean Moreno in the main event. Hopefully you did tail that. I just had some concerns about his return and his mental state. So I did stay off it. Price wasn't terrible. What was it, like minus 160? So it was bettable. I just stayed away. I did stay away even though I didn't lean inside. I was on Malott, and Malott was in that same category and situation as Moreno, right? Morono. So I still liked him enough because the matchup was good for him. And I did believe Malott was going to bounce back. Now, he didn't look incredible. I think he just did enough to win. He kind of fought smart. I thought he would wrestle a little bit. He didn't. So he just stayed on the feet and was able to land the bigger shots. I think mixed up more kicks than expected. I think, Trevin Giles didn't expect that. So nice win there for Malott to get on track. But we lost with the Barrio side. So unbelievable. Stolfus is a guy you just don't really see him, as of late, at least, knocking out guys in the first round. He's usually getting knocked out. So I thought if it, was some sort of bar fight slugfest, that Stolfus would get caught and get hurt. He had back-to-back knockouts, right? So his chin is poor, and Barrio just didn't catch him. He got out-wrestled in the first, got up, though, and was unable to catch him in that bar fight style. So, hats off to Stolfus there for getting the win. When it turns into that slugfest type of bar fight, you're flipping coins, right? And, you don't want to do that long term. Updated rec here, 29-13 pay-per-view cards 2024. Average line plus money, 72%. That's the highlight of this year and why we're able to be profitable. And we're profitable every year in the UFC. Obviously, it does vary from year to year. Always going to be profitable, some years bigger than others. 69%, 69%, 2023, 2024. This is long-term, guys. 2-fight parlays, right? So 2-fight parlays, I don't bet. The only parlays I bet are 2. Rare, sometimes I'll do 3 if I really like favorites and get it down to plus money. But these 2-fight parlays are average plus money, guys. Right, I really like a guy at minus 250, really like a guy at minus 300. Let's parlay 2 together. That counts as 1 win, right? So you're going to like favorites a lot, and sometimes you just can't call outcomes. That's where the 2-fight parlays come in handy. I hit them at a very high percentage. Probably won't find that anywhere around the market. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's get right into it. Oh, NFL run right now as well. We've been running nice in the NFL, highlighted by a 78% player props. 18-5 has been the highlights so far. We're on a 23-9 NFL run here, so hot in the NFL right now as well. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's get right into it. Shop around for the best price. I can't stress that enough. You know I stress it all the time. Have multiple books, have money in multiple accounts, like I always say. Magny plus 550 versus Prates minus 800. That's going to be a theme of this card. Lots of big favorites. So you got to either have the 2-fight parlay out there, or you got to find an outcome. And outcomes can be tough at times. You're forcing outcomes at times, and it's something I don't suggest to do. Let's look at this. Is Prates worthy of minus 800? Definitely not. Love the guy. Love the fighter. Right? The price is just so big. I get why he's favored. I have him maybe, 4-1 or something like that. 5-1 at most. Right? I understand he's going to have a big striking advantage here. But we really haven't seen Prates wrestle much. Right? And Magny, I'm not saying he's some superstar wrestler, but he can grapple. He can wrestle a little bit. And we obviously know Prates. I love the reach that he has. Not going to have that reach advantage here. I love his sneaky power. He'll have that power advantage, and he'll have the volume at just under 5 significant strikes per minute. Magny, though, right? Very experienced. Prates not. A ton of experience, and we've seen what Magny did against Mike Malott last time out. Same type of situation. Mike Malott was coming up. Going to be that next big fighter from Canada. Magny said, not yet. We know Magny can go 3 rounds. We know his cardio is good. We know he's fairly durable at times, even though he did get knocked out in his last fight. He's only been knocked out 3 times in his whole career, and he's had a lot of fights. Now, he's a little older. I think the chin has maybe evaporated a little bit. That is some concern here. But I'm not totally writing off Magny in this fight. Low chance of winning? Sure. Plus 550 worthy to take a shot? I'll pass. For some people that take a shot for a small unit, I'm not going to call you crazy. However, probably should win this fight. Right? Now, will Magny be able to utilize, an ugly game plan here and try to wrestle, grapple against the cage, try to get this fight down to the ground? Is he going to be able to get the fight down to the ground? I think he could struggle there. Due to this 80% takedown defense that I've seen from Prates. It's solid, right? So I don't think Magny's wrestling is that great, especially his takedowns. So that's why I believe, Prates does win this fight. But Magny could hang around like he did in the Malott fight, right? Remember, Malott was winning that fight, right, for 2.5 rounds. But he hung around. He stayed in the fight, and then you saw what happened. So keep that in mind here. Keep that in mind. That's why I don't think this big price is warranted at minus 800. Yes, he should be a big favorite, but when I'm talking big favorite, I'm talking minus 400, minus 500. Still a big favorite, I get it. But not minus 800. It's just unbettable at minus 800. You can't bet him at minus 800 on the money line. So if we look at outcomes, it's even worse if you like him by finish, and that's where he should win the fight. It should be by finish. We've seen, like I mentioned, Magny get finished in his last fight against Morales. Same type of up-and-coming style fighter, right? Morales, I love Morales as well. I like Prates as well. Both these guys I really enjoy watching. And, we saw Magny just unable to do anything on the feet, unable to take him down. We could see something similar in this fight. Now, minus 334 for a knockout is ridiculous. Like if you like betting these high outcome, it's just not going to be smart long term. Yes, he is favored to finish Magny. If you want to take a shot, I think there's value here. Again, you're going to be on the edge of your seat and biting your fingernails. But decision is plus 750, guys. Plus 750 is very high. Small unit, definitely worth a shot. Like I said, Prates should knock him out. However, there is value here at the plus 750. So if you're going to have a small unit, I might even have a small unit myself on that price. I can't bet him at minus 800. I just can't do it. Even if I fit into if I do a 2-fight parlay, it's going to be very difficult to play him with anybody. You're just not getting any return back in that, right? So value at plus 750. I do favor Prates to knock him out. But yeah, Prates wins this fight. Almost impossible to bet it though. That's my analysis on this one. I'll probably be staying away unless I take the long shot by decision. This was supposed to be the Cody Garbrandt spot at the co-main event. He's out. Co-main, maybe one of the worst co-mains ever. Even though I'm a little interested to see how the Ritter does make his UFC debut here. And he's minus 300 versus Gerald Meerschaert, plus 240. Gerald Meerschaert, we know him. The gatekeeper of the division, right? Excellent grappler. Striking is not good. And he has some decent wins. And he's able to win fights due to his experience. Like I said, grappling. He's won back-to-back fights. Dorder making his debut. Should he be minus 300 in his debut against a veteran? I just think that matchup's really good for him because what Meerschaert does good, the Ritter does the same. The Ritter's a very good grappler. Right? I've seen some tape on him when I saw this fight announced. He's taking grappling fights. He has 11 submission wins in his MMA career. So, Gerald, what are you going to do here? Are you going to keep it standing? Your stand-up game is not too good. So, the Ritter, also has 5-round experience. Good cardio from what I've seen in that 5 rounds. So, one champion at one time. He does have 2 losses in his last 3 fights, though. That's worth mentioning, right? It's not UFC caliber guys. So that is worth mentioning. So I'm not running to the window on the Ritter. I'm not, right? There's a few things that have me concerned. Another thing is concerned. You got to watch the scales. He's coming down from 205 to 185. Now, if that cut goes well, it should translate into the power, should translate to the size on the Ritter. But you got to watch the scales. Watch the scales. So, yes, I do believe, the Ritter wins this fight. It is favored to go decision, which is interesting. I guess they're thinking a lot of grappling maybe in this one. Kind of hard to predict an outcome in this one. A little difficult. So you would have to play maybe the money line, in my opinion. Meerschaert's coming off back-to-back wins, like mentioned earlier. He's competing in these fights. I'm not ruling him out here. You can tell the line isn't either. But I am going to lean the Ritter here in his UFC debut. Sopaj minus 350 versus Turcios plus 250. So what's his favorite is just due to the wrestling advantage here for Sopaj. Turcios just has poor takedown defense, 45%, guys, and that's where Sopaj could take advantage with his over 3 takedowns. Right, Turcios, scrappy little guy. You take him down, he's going to get up. He's going to try to get up at least. Right? You can take him down, but he does get up. He works very hard. I find him like a annoying guy to fight. That's kind of how I have him labeled. Not really great at anything. Just annoying to fight. He can try to win split decisions due to his activity. Decent volume, very limited power. Spolcha, I don't believe he should be a minus 350 favorite. He hasn't proved anything in the UFC. He's 0-1 in the UFC. And before that, he's fighting in lower level leagues like All-Stars and FCR, guys. No chance I would bet him at this price, even though the matchup does seem ideal for him. Right? So it comes down to the wrestling advantage, how Turcio handles it. I could see this being a very, split decision friendly type fight. Right, we could kind of see that here. So, I'm going to lean the over. Fight goes the distance would probably be my favorite play. Turcios seems very durable. 3 of his last 4 fights went to decision. Last time out, versus Roses Jr., he choked him out, but Roses Jr. is on another level than Sopaj, obviously. And, Turcios does seem to have a nice chin. I don't see Turcios finishing Sopaj. The finishing ability from Turcios is just not really there. A bit of value on Turcios at plus 250, not enough for me to take a chance. I like the over 2.5, though. Most likely the fight to go the distance. Pinheiro plus 300 versus Robertson minus 400. Another big price here. And again, it's going down to matchup. Robertson should be able to take advantage of the grappling and wrestling. You don't see too many times a plus 180, plus 200 submission favorite, but Robertson is here. And there's good reason for that. Pinheiro's grappling's not great. She's coming off a submission loss to Angela Hill. Angela Hill's a striker. She has some sneaky, grappling, but she's known for her striking cardio. Robertson, 9 of her 14 wins are by submission, guys. So I believe she has the path to win this by submission, but at plus 180, plus 200, you're hoping for a lot. You're hoping for a lot here, right? Robertson, 3 wins in her last 4. Pinheiro, back-to-back losses. So, 2 fighters going in different directions here. Can't bet Robertson at minus 400. The only way you can look at it is obviously decision or sub. That's the only way this fight ends. All right, it's not Robertson by knockout. Possible by TKO if she can control her on the ground. So, yeah, I'm staying away from this one. I'm just staying away. It's women's MMA at the end of the day. I'm not going to be involved in this one. Pinheiro should have the striking advantage, but we know Robertson should be able to get this fight down to the ground. And when it gets down there, very good grappler. I think Robertson's one of the better grapplers in women's MMA, right? Dern, number 1. She could be right there. Probably forgetting a few people, but Robertson's very high-level black belt out of Canada. Abdul Malik, minus 350. Right, these prices aren't friendly, guys. Versus Todorovic, plus 275. Todorovic has been, finished in 2 of his last 3 fights, guys. Losses to Duncan, Chikiti, below average competition. Not durable, very hittable, at 46% defense. Malik, the issue why I have that why I have an issue with the minus 350 is he's very green. He's 6-0. Making his UFC debut. Very difficult to get to that, guys. Is he more skillful or is he more athletic? Yes. But Todorovic, maybe coming back, his job could be on the line here. He's fighting a 6-0 green prospect. Come on. Minus 350? Very difficult to get to. Obviously Malik wants a strike. He does have some power on the feet, and he could hurt Todorovic in the fight. I get it. That's why I do believe he most likely wins this fight, but you just can't bet it. Could he take him by knockout? Sure, to improve that price. But again, green fighter, 6-0. He did get that knockout in Dana White Contender Series. He is coming from Dana White Contender Series, so you can say he has a little experience in the UFC atmosphere at least, but he's very raw. Just not going to bet him with my money at minus 350, even though for podcast purposes, I'll lean his way. You want to improve the price, look at the finish. But Todorovic, very good grappler, wrestler, black belt in jiu-jitsu. He may get this fight down to the ground. I haven't seen too much from Abdul Malik, with his wrestling and takedown defense. So keep that in mind, guys, before you get a little too excited on this green prospect. That will do it, guys. That will do it. Not a good card. Especially for a UFC Vegas 100 at the Apex. We're used to these Apex cards. Usually my Apex cards are a lot smaller for clients. Fight night cards in general, UFC pay-per-view cards are a lot bigger in volume. due to the matchups, right? You're taking more. I like to take maybe a little more shots on these UFC fight cards because, you know, some underdogs do come through. I may have an underdog play or two for clients this week. That will do it, guys. NFL Week 10 video will be out tomorrow. Look out for that. Like I always say, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy this card.